So in case you didn't know, a wanna is a filmmaking technique where a long scene is shot continuously without the use of cuts. Though films like Snake Eyes, Birdman and Hard Boiled have become iconic for their prolonged takes, certain TV shows have actually utilized this tool too, you know? And it's often pretty impressive when executed effectively. Whether this technique was used for a scene or even an entire episode, the following 10 entries all left everybody's jaws on the floor. And that's where you want them to be. So with that in mind, I'm Gareth, this is What Culture, and here are 10 incredible TV scenes shot in a single take. Number 10, The Hurt Man Monsters, Season 2, Episode 5. The second season of Monsters focuses on Lyle and Eric Menendez, who were arrested for brutally murdering their parents, Jose and Kitty. Even though Jose and Kitty were deeply respected by the community, the Menendez brothers claimed their mother and father harbored a malevolent side, leaving Lyle and Eric with no choice but to execute them. The fifth episode, The Hurt Man, focuses entirely on Eric speaking to his defense attorney about every detail surrounding the abuse his parents put him through. Though there's nothing impressive about the shot on a technical level, the way the camera subtly zooms in on Eric over 36 minutes allows the audience to gradually feel like they're being let into the character's world, allowing them to understand him more intimately. The camera never deviates from Eric, so we bear witness to every word, gesture, and micro-expression. That's a lot of time on one face. And after watching the season in its entirety, The Hurt Man alone is worth revisiting. Upon a first viewing, it appears Eric is sincere throughout this interview, but after it comes to light how much of the Menendez story is true, you'll definitely be incentivized to give this episode another go. Now, it's apparent how much of Eric's behavior and dialogue here is a well-crafted performance. Number 9, The Cafeteria, All of Us Are Dead, Season 1, Episode 2. All of Us Are Dead follows a group of Korean high schoolers who find their school at the epicenter of a zombie outbreak. What a nightmare. And though the teen horror series has plenty of gripping moments, none can compare to the cafeteria invasion. Now, this sequence lasts 140 seconds, making it the shortest entry on our list by far, but that does not make it any less impressive. The scene involves 200 actors, elaborate gore, violent deaths, and abrupt zombie transformations. While this is happening, the camera operator is ducking, jumping on tables, and weaving around everybody to record the footage, while simultaneously trying not to get in anybody's way. And just to make it extra complicated, the sprinklers in the room are active, so the cast and crew have to work through this scene without slipping, unless that's the intention, of course. Due to the sporadic way everything is recorded, it's reasonable to assume the cafeteria sequence was achieved by splicing together multiple shots. On the contrary, though, All of Us Are Dead creator Lee Jae-ju confirmed that this massacre was filmed without any editing tricks whatsoever. Yeah, that is outstanding stuff, so well done to all involved. Number 8, The Wanna, The Studio, Season 1, Episode 2. In Apple TV Plus's satirical comedy, new studio head Matt Remick desperately tries to make artsy projects, going against the wishes of his fellow Hollywood bigwigs. From the pilot episode, it is obvious the studio embraces long takes, with West Wing-style walk and talks utilized throughout. But the second episode, fittingly called The Wanna, cranks it up a notch by filming everything in one go. What makes this Wanna episode more entertaining is the fact that it revolves around Matt's production team shooting a Wanna scene of a sunset. Throughout the troubled shoot, Matt finds that all his attempts to perfect the shot end up actually sabotaging it, leading to immeasurable frustration for all parties involved. How this entire episode plays out feels like a meta commentary, since the crew found themselves running into similar problems. The whole thing had to be shot in 4 chunks, since the production could only film at the exact moment when the sunset occurred. And though there are many TV shows that shoot a full episode in one take, the studio might have the only Wanna that's centered around one. A Wanna about a Wanna. Trippy. What's your favorite Wanna in movie or TV history? Maybe it's even on this list. Let me know in the comments section down below. Number 7, Triangle, The X-Files, Season 6, Episode 3. After Mulder boards the wreckage of a World War II British ship in the X-Files X-Files Triangle episode, he finds himself traveling back to 1939 while the vessel is being infiltrated by the Nazis. Mulder doesn't want the British soldiers to die, but is unsure whether to take action since anything he does could change the course of history. Quite the dilemma. Inspired by Alfred Hitchcock's Rope, Chris Carter shot this episode in several long shots and stitched them together to emulate a single take, with the production team using Steadicams to move fluidly through different locations, especially in scenes set aboard the ship. The filming is top tier, but the editing team deserves to be singled out for their work here, since the cuts are completely unnoticeable, especially during a shot where the past and present Scully overlap. Not only is this a great technical achievement, but shooting the episode in one take also fits the story well, as Mulder's predicament has a dreamlike vibe. So having different time periods and locations blending together is very fitting, and Triangle's epilogue suggests the whole scenario was a hallucination brought about by Mulder almost drowning, which further justifies the surreal way the story plays out on screen. Number 6. Review The Bear, Season 1, Episode 7. The Bear repeatedly uses long takes to emphasize the anxiety-inducing chaos that is commonplace in Carmi's kitchen. However, the 7th episode review takes this to the next level, with a 17-minute shot that perfectly captures the animalistic ferocity Carmi's gang experience in the workplace. During a lunch rush, everything that could go wrong in the kitchen does, including the new ordering system malfunctioning, meals getting knocked over, Sydney quitting, and Richie getting mildly stabbed. Rather than relying on traditional storytelling techniques, the episode throws you into the madness so you experience the same frustration and exhaustion as the ensemble. And oh boy do you experience it. The rapid-fire dialogue, overlapping voices, and non-stop movements aren't just intense, but suffocating. And as tension rises, the camera creeps ever closer on the characters, so every emotion is etched on their faces. By the end, you can see every vein on Carmi's face just ready to pop. Though there are a slew of shots highlighting characters berating one another, there are just as many emphasizing the reactions. Rather than focusing on Sydney when she humiliates Richie, the camera lingers on Richie, his body language and facial expressions indicating he's about to erupt any second. Even though there have been many stressful episodes before and since, Review allowed viewers to get a sense of how nerve-wracking and scary Carmi's kitchen can be on a day-to-day basis. All in a day's work, eh? If you're enjoying looking at these awesome TV wanners and want some more interesting What Culture lists and videos just like this one, then hit that subscribe button down below and you will have a good time, I promise. Thank you, Chef. Number 5. Runtime Error R00. Mr. Robot, Season 3, Episode 5. In Season 3, Episode 5 of Mr. Robot, Elliot prepares to undo the damage he unintentionally caused after allying with the Dark Army. After realizing his boss is working against him, the Master Hacker desperately tries to stop the second phase of the cyber attack. And even though Elliot is always racked with fear and paranoia, the stakes here have never been higher. For this reason, having this episode play out as a continuous 45-minute take works perfectly, since Elliot's anxiety and lack of control can be observed and experienced in real time. Although Rami Malek and Portia Doubleday always bring their A game, their performances here elevate this masterful storyline further. Watching Malek's character slowly realizing his plan is crumbling is so panic-inducing. You feel like you yourself are in the thick of it all. Despite the fact there are a couple of hidden cuts, which were needed for the camera to pass through glass and walls, they're completely unnoticeable, so it never interrupts the flow. Though Mr. Robot has many incredible episodes, few can top the cinematography, editing, and overall intensity in this absolute gem. Number 4. Prison Escape, Daredevil Season 3, Episode 4. Each season of Daredevil has at least one fight that's done in one shot, old boy style. And though the Warner battles in the first and second seasons were impressive, the titular character in these scenes was usually played by Charlie Cox's stunt double, Chris Brewster. However, for the third season's Prison Escape, the titular character was without his trademark costume, meaning Cox had to perform most of the scene himself. A few cowboy switches were made, with Brewster substituting for the elaborate stunts, but it doesn't change the fact that Cox himself pulled off the majority of this mesmerizing sequence. And good for him. Not only does this shot involve intense dialogue, smoke, fire, and various brawls, but Cox performed most of his choreographed moves without directly looking at his co-stars too, since, he's portraying a blind man. Interestingly, the scene was designed so that hidden cuts could be used, such as when Matt Murdock passes through a darkened hallway. But the scene turned out so well that 0 cuts were needed, meaning the talented cast and crew actually shot this almost 12-minute shot for real. Yeah, well played. Although Daredevil Born Again also opened with a cracking Warner battle, it still doesn't compare to the prison escape from the original show. Number 3, The Robbery, True Detective, Season 1, Episode 4. The Who Goes There episode of True Detective concludes with a 6-minute tracking shot of Matthew McConaughey's Rust Cole infiltrating a drug gang. Unsurprisingly, a staggering amount of planning went into the scene. In fact, it took director Kari Joji Fukunaga 7 weeks before he had the permission to film it, as this showdown was so complex due to being shot in an actual housing project rather than on a set. Fukunaga then had to work out, and I quote, "the most interesting path, but also the most logical path for Cole's escape." What makes this scene stand out above other action-oriented sequences is how the camera itself feels like a character. Everything is shot smoothly and slowly in the beginning as Russ tries de-escalating the situation, repeatedly saying easy, easy, in and out, in and out. However, when things fall apart, the camera begins to frantically swing around and move sharply, accentuating how Rust feels. The scene avoids flashy Hollywood-style gunfights, so it comes across as raw and unpredictable, which certainly helps immerse viewers in the escalating madness. And another crucial aspect is how the camera operator stays as close to the action as possible. Though this must have made choreographing the scene unbearable, it gives the audience a front row seat to Russ dealing with the mounting chaos. Just to make this already flawless scene even more impressive, everybody involved rehearsed the whole thing in only 1 day. 1 day! Take a bow. Number 2, Two Storms, The Haunting of Hill House, Season 1, Episode 6. The bent neck lady episode of The Haunting of Hill House is such high-quality television. It didn't seem possible for Mike Flanagan's chilling adaptation to top it. But then the next episode said, hold my beer. The Two Storms is a 53-minute episode exploring 2 alternating storylines that center around the Crane family, one in the past and one in the present. Though The Two Storms is styled like a oneer, there are a few hidden cuts. With that said, it was still daunting to shoot, requiring a month of preparation as stand-ins had to work their way through the scene repeatedly so that the crew could map out the blocking, lighting, and camera choreography when they shot it for real. It's also worth mentioning that the rain in this episode was achieved without CGI, with the crew instead using a water machine. Due to constant rehearsals, this led to the set being flooded numerous times, only adding further to the complications. At first, it seems odd to shoot the scene like this, especially since it takes place in 2 time periods. However, it works in the story's favor since it emphasizes how the Cranes can't escape their childhood trauma, and for this reason, The Two Storms isn't just a technical marvel, but an emotional one. And number 1, the entire show, Adolescence. Few recent dramas have made shockwaves quite like Adolescence, co-created by its star Stephen Graham. The 4-part Netflix series delves into the aftermath of a 13-year-old boy's arrest for the alleged murder of a female classmate. Though Adolescence should be applauded for its cutting social commentary, astounding writing, and visceral performances, it's the way it's shot that stands out, since every episode is a singular tracking shot. This feat is absolutely incredible, particularly when considering how some episodes involve hundreds of actors, numerous set changes, and sequences that require heavy choreography, like the opening police raid. There's one shot in the second episode where a student is chased out of a classroom's window, forcing the camera operator to leap through a window without missing a beat. I mean, I'd struggle to do that without a camera strapped to me. That same episode concludes with an aerial shot, which required the crew to attach a camera to a drone, fly it around, drop it down, and then get picked up by an operator. And the sequence is executed so seamlessly, many viewers wouldn't realize how intricate it must have been to pull it off. Speaking of which, the prep needed for Adolescence was intense. Each episode spent 3 weeks in production, with 1 week for filming. No scene stitching was used here either, meaning that one mistake could force everyone involved to start from scratch. Can you imagine? As a result, it's no surprise to learn that certain episodes had to be filmed more than 10 times. This must have been nightmarish to coordinate, but it was clearly worth it, as Adolescence is sure to leave a lasting impression. Now continue your YouTube journey with What Culture by tapping on another video right here in front of your eyes. You can thank me later. Bye bye.